Hello and welcome to another Greggington video on Rise of Kingdoms, my free-to-play account. Today we're going to talk about what I consider my top tips for free-to-play players. These have been honed through, well, many accounts worth of free-to-play over the years, but this one in particular, which has really captivated my interest. We can see we're on day 19 in the kingdom. I am currently the 72nd strongest player. It's a moderate kingdom in terms of strength. There's some stronger ones in our seeding and certainly some weaker ones. So we'd say we're very average strength. We've managed to get top 100 quite comfortably. And how did I do that, you may ask? Well, I'll tell you how I did it. It's all described here on the right hand side of the screen. I'll go through these in turn. I am, happily going about this free-to-play account. You can see the Minamoto here. So it is verifiably a free-to-play account. And let's talk about how we got to this stage. So I've gone for 8 tips which I think really encapsulate how to start as a free-to-play player and get a good start in Rock, whether you're a beginner or an expert who's just going back for a new jumper project. And that word jumper comes right at the beginning. So if you look at the first episode of this series, I talk at length about what a jumper account is. For want of a better word, it is an account where you start in a kingdom, you gum around, do your usual early game things, but you never upgrade your city hall past level 8. The idea being that you get something called a beginner's immigration, which you can use to migrate to a new kingdom, and it's accessible for 10 days. So what you do is you go around, keep everything level 7, just kill barbs, farm resources. That not so much, but we'll get onto that. You kill barbs, you train troops, you do all the daily events, get all the little bonuses you can get, and then in 7, 8 or 9 days after the start of the account, you jump to a new kingdom where everyone starts from 0, apart from everyone who's jumped there, who starts from a 7-day account already. It's a huge benefit to the growth of your account. It's something I definitely recommend. There's often jumper alliances, people in new kingdoms who said, hello, we're a jumper alliance, join us. And that's a really good way of doing it, because you can then jump with them to a target kingdom. You'll all be there together, you'll all be quite strong, and you'll all be able to make a strong alliance. And hopefully, like we did in this kingdom, establish yourself as the #1 alliance. We have one really, where we have 2 really big spenders here, a few medium spenders, but we're comfortably the top alliance because we jumped from kingdom 3252 to 3259. So we got an extra 7 days worth of kingdom growth. Came in here and we were all very strong and managed to profit from that. So my first bit of advice would be always do a jumper account. Second piece, farm account. What is a farm account, some of you may say? Some of you will say, oh, not a bloody farm account. A farm account is a secondary account within the kingdom which you use basically to farm resources and send it to your main account. Now the reason for this is quite simple. If you're playing as a free-to-play, or you're a beginner player who perhaps hasn't got the experience and knows how the game exactly works, you'll soon find out that you lack resources. You want to upgrade things, you want to upgrade your city hall, but it costs more resources than you've got. Not a big problem early on in the game, but once you get to a level 20, 21 for things start hotting up in terms of price. So this is my farm account. Let's see how many days old it is. It's only 19 days old, so it's very slow growth. That's fine. All I want to do on this account is level up my gathering commanders and just gather resources with the intention of sending them to my main account. You will see this nifty little building called the trading post, which you can use to send resources to other accounts. The idea being, of course, you make sure that at some point your 2 accounts are in the same alliance. You send the resources over, you profit. They have a tax drawback. So the tax rate of this one's level is 23%, and the transportation capacity is quite low. As it gets higher, it goes down to 7%. So every time I'm taking resources on this account, I'm going to, in the long term, get 93% of these resources on my main account. So I've basically got 2 sets of farmers instead of 1. In order to create a farm account, it's relatively simple. Click on your icon, click on settings, characters, go past all your lovely characters here, create new character, choose the kingdom you're in. For me, it would be 3259. It's not here because you're only allowed 2 accounts started in each kingdom. You can migrate as many as you want there. Look at my 3031 with my 7 accounts. So create new account, choose the kingdom you're in, and create a secondary account which you use as a farm account. In terms of how active to be on this account, not crazy. I usually get myself all of the daily objectives, but I don't do much more than that. I level up one set of commanders only, and they are the farmers. For obvious reasons, get them all to level 37, which is important, and profit therein. So number 2, farm account. It's a bit boring, I'll be honest with you, but when you start running out of resources, which you'll see my main account is running out of resources now, you need a way of getting resources unless you want to start having to wait for each of your upgrades. Beginning of the game you need speed ups, then you need resources, then it goes back to speed ups. You want to get past that bit of the game where you're lacking resources, and a farm account's a great way of doing it. As you can see, my next city hall upgrade costs 24.10. I do not have the resources for that at the moment. I'm going to have to make use of my farm, so it's very important that I keep the farm ticking away in the background. Number 3, choose China. In all aspects of life, choose China, specifically your starting civilization. Very simple reason for this. Building speed plus 5%. Beginning of the game is all about building. Late game, mid game it's all about research. Late game it's all about combat. It is expensive to switch between the civilizations. You get one civilization change. It's advised you go from China to Germany or China to France, maybe China to Ottomans if you like archers. Maybe Greece is up there. No one really knows how to play Greece yet because they're new. But China is pretty much universally accepted as the best starting civilization. If you're free to play, if you're paying money, it doesn't matter too much. Building speed plus 5% and action point recovery by 5%. Excellent. Thirdly, you get Sun Tzu. Sun Tzu's the best epic commander bar none. He's by far and away the most useful combat-oriented epic commander. There is no reason not to choose China at the beginning of the game. I would advise you to do so, change later on, but for the first 100 days until you've got City Hall level 25, China is definitely the way to go. Well, as you can see in the background here, I'm trying to actively do number 4. Number 4 is always use your AP. So your AP is this thing, the green action points underneath your picture at the top. And it is imperative you always use them simply because action points can be used to fight barbarians, they can be used to fight barbarian forts, and from these two things you get rewards. There is no point leaving rewards on the table, so to speak, no point missing out on value because you've got a full action bar. We just rallied a barbarian fort, from it we got 18 resource packs, 15 tomes of knowledge, 5 minutes healing speed up, a purple sculpture, some AP, and some books of the Covenant, which are, as you'll probably all know, hugely important. You need a castle level 25 to unlock tier 5, and books of the Covenant are the only way of getting there if you're not going to spaff gems into it. So there's no reason to ever have a full action bar. If you do, you're leaving power on the table. Again, what do we need to grow? We need resources and we need speed ups. What do we get from these things? Well, we get resources and we get speed ups. I would say in terms of how to best spend your AP on a day-by-day basis, it's best to do barbarian forts. And again, the main reason for that is these little books of the Covenant. As you'll see from my castle, I want to upgrade it to level 13. I cannot, because I'm missing books of the Covenant. Okay, I'm only missing 30 odd, no problem, I'll get them soon. Yeah, try and get from level 24 to 25. You need 5,000 books of the Covenant, or 50,000 gems. You can buy them at 10 gems a piece. You want to always be doing forts, always be clearing barbarians. There are some special events where you get double the bonus for using your AP. There's something called the Karak event, where it's like a barbarian leader. There's some Lohar events where you get bonuses for beating barbarians. There are some King of the Tribes event where you get bonuses for doing forts. Just before Kingdom versus Kingdom starts, there's some incredibly powerful barbarians called Marauders who drop excellent rewards. So for those things, I think it's advisable to save your AP potions. They're sort of the artificial ways of gaining AP. The best way of gaining AP is just to wait. My thing comes back in 5 minutes 22. Sorry, 5 hours 22. The higher VIP level you are, the better you do in terms of acquiring your AP back. So you don't need to go mad with using AP potions unless there's a special event, but make sure you're always using all your AP. I like having, well, I've only got 4 here. Usually you've got 5 marches when you unlock City Hall 22. I like having 4 marches doing gathering and 1 doing forts or barbarians. I can't stand having any AP left, and neither should you. It is a surefire way to curtail your growth. Number 5, something we touched upon earlier, gathering commanders. So we've seen here my main commander, the guy I use most fights, is Thutmose. I've got 5 heads of him today, which is very lucky in a gold key. So he's slowly getting up there. And he's my highest level commander. However, you'll notice, apart from him, my main commanders I've leveled up are John d'Arc, or Joan of Arc as I'll call her, Constance, Gaius Marinus, Sarka, and Centurion. The reason for this is they're all gathering commanders. They all provide bonuses down the gathering tree. They make gathering quicker. They make it more effective. And with this little thing here, they gain more resources upon completion of gathering. The best gathering commander bar none, well, that's not true. The best one's Cleopatra, but she's a legendary and takes ages to expertise. The best bar Cleopatra is Constance. Her 4th skill gives you a 10% resource bonus when you collect any resources. So if you mine 1,000,000 stone, you get 1.1 million. I would recommend getting every gathering commander to level 37. Practice what I preach here. The reason for this is at level 37, you can do this nice little loop of the gathering tree, get 3 here and 5 here. You do not need to put any more experience in than that. You can if you really want them to be quicker with the march speed of siege units, or if you want them to be slightly better at resisting attacks. But let's be honest, if your gatherers are attacked, they're going to die. Just accept that. Level them up. Get them to level 37 as soon as you can, in my opinion. Sort of dovetail it nicely with your main combat commander, and then profit from the increased gathering speed which they acquire from these extra levels. As we can see, I may be 72nd in power, but in terms of resource gathering, I'm in the top 40, miles behind this soldier guy who might be using a bot. Let's be honest, that's a lot of resources gathered, but these guys know what's up. Just gather resources, and speed ups are the 2 most important thing in the game. Best way of getting resources by gathering them on the map. The gathering commanders do not sleep on them. Many people do. Many people put money in to sort of compensate for the fact they haven't got high level gatherers and they don't like gathering. Yeah, it's boring, but gets you stronger. That's what being a free-to-play player on Rock's all about. Number 6, something I have not done on this account, save your golden heads. Once you get to level 10 on VIP, you will notice that you get 1 legendary commander sculpture every day. Doesn't seem that important, but these are the best items in the game. They allow you to level up the skills of any legendary commander you have. A legendary, like unlocking a legendary commander looks cool. Yeah, I've got Frederick. But until these skills get to a higher level, the commander's basically useless. The gold heads are the best thing you can get because they're so versatile. I can put them in Thutmose, I can put them in Chow Chow, in El Cid, Martel. It's absolutely integral that you keep your gold heads if you have any sense. I haven't done it here because I want to level up Thutmose and have some fun with him and enjoy playing in KVK1. But there are much stronger gold commanders who come later in the game. The likes of, let's go back to, Mehmet's a bad example because he is quite good late game. The likes of Chow Chow, El Cid, even Pyrrhus, who is very strong, Richard, Julius Caesar, Ragnar, Frederick. I mean, they're varying degrees of me now, but later in the game they are completely eclipsed by the newer commanders who get released. And 1 gold head can be used to put Chow Chow's level up by 1, or skill up by 1 head, or Nevsky's skill by 1 head. Nevsky being one of the most powerful commanders in the late game. So the logical thing to do is don't spend your golden heads now. Save them for the late game. And if you're not saving them for late game, at least save them for YSG. Yeah, Isongi, the strongest KVK1 commander, or Alexander, or Saladin in KVK2. These are some properly meta commanders, and it's very, very much advised from me to save your heads for them. Ignore the fact I haven't done it on this account. I'm trying something different. There we go, Barbarian Fort. More books, more research tomes, more speed ups, more gems, more resource packs at the cost of 150 of my AP points. I shall continue using them. Number 7, Mysterious Caves. Now, if you scroll out, you click the Explore button, you will see on your map a load of little green and yellow things here. These are the Mysterious Caves and the Tribal Villages. Now, you may think, as I did until quite recently, the best thing to do is to just click all the Tribal Villages, click all the Mysterious Caves, investigate them all. Job's a good one. Well, you know what? That's not the best thing to do, as I was availed by my friends in the YouTube comment section. Thank you very much to them for that. The best thing to do is only look at the level 2 and 3 Mysterious Caves to begin with, particularly if you're jumping from a new kingdom, from an old kingdom, sorry, where you're going around clearing the fog for 7 days and then jumping into a new kingdom. The reason being, you get 400 looks at caves, where they're level 1, 2 or 3, and then after that every single cave is a level 1 cave. So what you want to do is you want to make sure if you're doing a jumper account, you are only looking at level 3 and level 2 caves. After they're all done, you can start doing the level 1s, but you leave some value on the table if, like me, you research level 1s too quickly. This is a level 3 cave with treasure level high. Unfortunately, because I've researched or investigated so many of them, this is only going to be a level 1 cave for me. So instead of getting tens of thousands of resources, purple heads, gems, I'm probably going to get 20,000 food and a green head. Pretty useless. So for Mysterious Caves, do your utmost to save, to avoid the level 1 caves and just go for the level 2 and 3 until it becomes clear that you've looked at 400 Mysterious Caves, at which point you can go around, look at the rest, because they're all going to be level 1 anyway. That's a mistake I made, and I would advise you to avoid making the exact same mistake. Before we go on to number 8, something that's not on the list that is very important is spending gems. At the beginning of the game, I would advise everyone to save their gems. You get events like this. Wheel of Fortune. Look, spend gems, spend gems, spend gems. The game wants you to spend gems. It gives you a lot of gems very quickly at the beginning of the game, and then it trickles off very swiftly, and you find yourself really wanting gems and thinking, I suppose I could just buy some. As I do a junior Lohar here, just use AP. My recommendation is get to VIP level 6. Do it if you can with VIP points that you acquire from the Mysterious Caves. If you do better than I did with the investigating, that will be quite easy for you. If not, you'll have to use some gems. So get to VIP level 6. Very important you get the building speed. After that, you get the second building queue, which you need. After that, stop using your gems for anything for now. Save them for a Wheel of Fortune event that doesn't have Chow Chow, one that has YSG in. My recommendation, you can use them in a More Than Gems event, which is an event where you get extra rewards for using gems. At that point, you can put them in your VIP. If you're a bit later on in the game, you put them in your castle. Your long-term goal is to get to VIP 10 and then 12, 14. But it's advantageous to save your gems and make sure you do that when there's the More Than Gems event, which gives you a bonus. That's my 7.5 point. And finally, point 8, something which I see a load of people doing, and I really want to shout at them and tell them, no, don't do it. So, look at City Hall level 21 here. I need Hospital and I need Wall. I do not need Academy and I do not need Alliance Centre. However, I prioritise Alliance Centre every single level. With an Alliance Centre, you incrementally increase the speed at which you research and build everything. The number of helps you get increases by 1 for each level of the Alliance Centre. So for each upgrade I'm doing here, I'm saving 25, 1, 0 point. I'm saving more and more, basically. I forget how the formula works. Here we go. Each helps action will fill the progress bar by 1% or a minimum of 1 minute. So with 25, I'm pretty much knocking 25% off every single research and every single building project I'm undertaking. May not seem so notable at first, but when you're having 200 days research projects to get to your tier 5 troops. It really adds up. So the first thing I do on leveling up to a new city hall is always go for the Alliance Center. And in terms of academy, the first thing you want to do, when you can, prioritize writing level 5, then engineering, until you unlock mathematics. And at this point, as you can see, I'm going for mathematics level 10, which is why all of my resources have been shattered. It costs a lot of resources, but it makes every future research project 15% faster. I could go for tier 4 already, but I don't want to. I want to make sure that I get the mathematics so that everything is incrementally quicker. It's a bit boring early games. Other people are getting tier 4 units, unlocking bonuses for them, and you're just saying, I'm researching the ability to research quicker. But when we think about this incrementally, as a free-to-play player or as a beginner, you really want to maximize all the little edges you can find. And getting an early 15% research boost that other people get later once they've researched the sexier technologies is something huge that you can't overlook. Those are my top 8 tips, or top 8.5 tips for free-to-play players or beginners in the game. I hope they were helpful to you. If there's any questions you've got, please feel free to leave them in the comments. I've enjoyed making the video. I hope you've enjoyed watching it. I shall bid you adieu, good night, and farewell in the style of The Sound of Music.